Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to A Walking with J.Beau. An almost daily walking vlog. Oh, what a happy day. What a damn happy, fantastic day today was. America still has a pulse. I've got people here waiting for Thanksgiving and some decor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we went and did it. So yes, that's what I'm going to be talking about on this walk. If you want to celebrate with me on our wonderful election victory here in the United States, I got a big smile on my face. This is one of the greatest things in my lifetime. Even bigger than when I watched the Boston Bruins win the Stanley Cup in 2011. Even bigger than when I watched the Red Sox win the World Series in 2004. Absolutely amazing. So we're gonna do a little bit of walking tonight and have a discussion about things that have transpired. We'll start on that on up ahead. Now tonight, unusually mild tonight. It was actually about 76 degrees today while it was overcast. Very warm, humid air. And sometimes that comes up from down south. It's nice in the middle of winter when that happens, because then we get in the 40s or 50s. But for this time of year, in November, it's pretty rare. Very rare. So I am actually walking tonight with just a long sleeve shirt and a t-shirt over that. And I could have just been wearing a t-shirt because it is 70 degrees right now. And it doesn't feel like a cool 70. It feels like a warm, mild 70. We are going to have a cold front go through though. And we'll be back to normal. So I got to see where all these cars are going. So I'll get across the street here, then I'll flip the camera around. Things feel a lot different today. We'll get into a lot of the reasons why. We have a really nice election win, and you know, we'll head on down this way. I'll flip the camera around after these people go by. Hi, hello. So, flip the camera around. Hi everybody. How are you? This beautiful, victorious evening. America sounded off last night like we have a pair. And what a glorious moment as an American. And I say that wholeheartedly, that we knew this was coming. At least I did. I made my prediction, and before I get into all the other stuff, I just want to say that I hope you know I was always being honest with you with election chances. Didn't know what was going to happen last night, theoretically, but I did know he was going to win. I didn't know he was going to win as big as he did, but on my last walk yesterday, on voting day, I did mention that Democrats have lost the plot. People in this country are angry about it and they want change, which is why I thought Trump would win. But I did not expect this big,
9 minutes 56 seconds.
This big of a shift. I said he was going to keep the House. Well, actually what I said was, I hope he keeps the House. I said he was going to keep the Senate, which we are. So, as you can tell, I am proudly wearing my dark MAGA hat. My dark MAGA hat. Now it's time for us to not hide in the weeds in fear. So I won't. We are now in what I affectionately call the Unity Party. It is no longer the far right. It is now only the far left. Everybody is welcome in this tent. Last night's election was a perfect example of that. Trump was not elected by Republicans. Let me say that again. Trump was not made president-elect because of Republicans. He was made president-elect as a unifier. We now have independents, libertarians, Asians, African Americans, Asian Americans, Hindus, we have Indians, we have Native Americans, we have everybody. It's a big tent. LGBT, and it was a glorious win. And we have Muslim Americans who joined us in Michigan. I welcome you, our fine brothers, and American citizens and patriots. And we all had a glorious victory last night, not only to stop the wars going on in Ukraine and in Palestine and Lebanon, but to have world peace and stop having the United States meddle into everybody else's business. America first, okay? That's the message, America first. Worry about our own problems first. You know how much we could have done with all the money we've sent to Ukraine? Where the only reason why Putin invaded Ukraine was because Biden was soft. These people are soft. They want the war, and the industrial military complex is a big problem in the United States. Trump's going to have to deal with that. He's going to have to deal with corrupt agencies, and he knows how corrupt they are. And you have to remember, Trump is not a newcomer any longer. He knows how things work through personal sacrifice and personal cost. And we are going to see some crap, folks. Big league stuff coming up. We have now effectively elected some very good professionals who are experts and brilliant minds are going to be on this. Just announced yesterday, confirmed today, RFK Jr. is going to be tasked with redoing the CDC and the FDA to get rid of all of this corporate corruption. People need to realize how much corporate corruption there really is in our government. And what I mean by corporate corruption is money, lobbyist influence by dishonest people. And Big Pharma has the CDC so corrupt that everybody got bad COVID advice for a COVID problem that was not a big of a problem as it was made out to be for politics, because Trump was in the White House. Okay, I'm gonna switch my flashlight around here. Now, typically, I don't want to walk this late at night this time of year, because in the summertime I usually go a little bit later, there's less traffic. But we are going to have a cold front going by later, and it's 70 degrees right now, and damned if it isn't a great time to go for a walk, because it is. So we're probably going to do 6 miles tonight, which is okay. And what I want to reiterate to you is this is going to be a great time for our country. And on the news of President Trump winning his election, the stock market has shot through the roof, as has cryptocurrency, because Trump has promised that the United States should be one of the world leaders, if not the world leader, in cryptocurrency. And a lot of people are fearful of electronic currency because you don't actually have it in your mittens. You don't actually hold on to it. But we're doing that now in most cases. I rarely, if ever, use cash. Haven't for a long time. Now I can tell you, the damn tyrants, these globalists, want a cashless society because they want to control through digital currency, digital IDs, and everything else. So we're going to need safeguards, but this is going to be a necessary step. It's going to be a necessary step in our history because there was a time in this country that we used gold and silver, and then we stopped doing that. And now with digital currency, it's a whole different thing in a modern era, and I fully understand how it is necessary, but you cannot use imaginary money. It has to be backed up. Now, the other good thing about digital currency is we can establish it as a world currency like the American dollar, which the American dollar is not doing very well because of fools that have been in office with inflationary and spending. So Trump has a plan. We're going to open up energy production at levels that this country has never seen before, which is what he was doing before COVID hit. And everybody enjoyed a $1.85 to $2 gas, which will get down there again. We're going to replenish our national reserves, and we are going to tap into the huge, huge energy wealth this country has that never gets used, because when you start using that, you take away the leverage of politicians, for one thing, because this has been going on for a long time in this country. And so we got a lot of things we got to fix, and that's why I'm happy about the dream team that Trump has assembled. A lot of very smart people who are patriots. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to have a big say in a lot of stuff. He's a very smart guy, loves his country. We got RFK Jr. He's going to be tasked with the government agencies that have to do with our health. The CDC really dropped the ball during the pandemic, made things worse. Children suffered for it, people suffered for it. They used their office for politics and they divided us. They spread falsehoods about vaccines would stop the spread. Remember that? That was completely false. That was a lie. They knew better, but they got people like Dr. Fauci to verify falsely, because he was enriching himself with Big Pharma, and that's going to come out too, make no mistake. Rand Paul is going to go after his ass now, because Rand Paul is now going to be back in power on his committee he's on. And I'm sure Rand Paul is looking very much forward to it. Now, the other person for financial that's being tasked by Trump, very happy about this, is Rand Paul's dad, Ron Paul. Yeah, he's an older guy, but he's been wanting to get rid of the Fed for a long time. We need to restructure the IRS. We need to get all this stuff done. I would take all of these IRS agents that Biden hired to harass Americans, and I would start using them on the border as border agents. I would just simply explain to them, if you want to keep your job, well, this is your new job. So everybody is going to come out of the woodwork, just try to stop what Trump is doing. But now the Democrats have a problem. The problem they're going to have is, all right, and you're going to see it very soon this week. I believe President Biden is going to meet with Trump. They're going to sit down together and have a conversation in the White House, in the Oval Office. After calling Trump Hitler, his people are garbage, meaning you and I, being one of the most divisive, divisionist presidents we've ever had, probably the worst at dividing us. Now he's going to sit down with Trump like nothing's wrong, and the peaceful transfer of power, blah, blah, blah. And it's all bullshit, because behind the scenes, they're already plotting something for Trump's win. And we all know that. We don't know yet what they're going to do. But they're going to do something. You know they will. Nobody sore loses like Democrats. So they're going to sabotage, be vindictive, but Trump knows that. So, you know, Trump's going to come in on the first week after he's sworn in, and all of these lunatics are going to be gone. Rachel Levine, one of the head worst people that is responsible for child transition in America, puberty blockers, and Trump's going to reverse Biden's Title IX alteration he made, which is unconstitutional. And Trump is going to force these schools through federal funding, and the Republicans look like they're going to have the Congress. That has not been officially settled yet, but it's looking like that's what's going to happen. So the people of this country have graciously, as it is right now, how it appears, unless something dramatic changes, that the way it is right now, the media, it seems like, have been taking the approach of not predicting outcomes. Trump made his speech last night accepting being president-elect, while CNN is still talking about how Trump's not president yet. So we knew they were going to do that too. So Jake Tapper was like, all right, well, Trump's giving a speech. He goes, well, that was interesting. Has anybody else actually confirmed that this election's over? Somebody leaned over to him and said, Fox News called it. And tip your cap to Fox News, okay? I realize a lot of people like me really don't like Fox News. And they're corporate like the rest of the garbage. And they're not there when you need them. So, and what I'm talking about that was the last election and, you know, settling that lawsuit with Dominion, which was really stupid of them. So, anyway, what's really cool about that is Fox News came out and said Trump won Pennsylvania. And after they call Alaska later in the night, that he would have this all wrapped up, which he did. Today he's officially at 297. Alaska finally chimed in with theirs. 3 electoral college votes from Alaska, because they use ranked choice voting. So we had to wait till the next afternoon to find out. The same thing happened with Wisconsin. Even though Fox News gave Trump Wisconsin last night, it wasn't officially announced by the AP until today. So that's what we had with that. And so aren't we just having a glorious effing time today? What a beautiful patriotic win. We had a lot of people driving by the house tooting their horn at the Trump flag. People are joyous, they're happy, and so what an amazing time to be alive. I mean, I got to tell you, last night was probably the most incredible damn thing I have ever experienced in my lifetime, besides championship sports wins. Watching the Patriots win Super Bowls was fun also, although that did not have a huge underdog feel to it, except for the first one. And you know, so the Red Sox went on to win other World Series after 2004, but that one in 2004 was special. So this one this time with Trump was even more special than 2016, because 2016 was a surprise. It was, I was kind of hoping Trump would win, but a lot of people I know went to bed figuring that, okay, well, this was fun. I'll wake up tomorrow and Hillary will be president. And that didn't happen. So, here we are now, What an amazing, amazing thing. Now I don't have to walk through here and see the Harris signs, even though they're still up. There's some across the street. And we get the Trump signs across the street still. I got my Trump stuff out. The neighbors do too. And I'm going to leave it out for a little while. But I guarantee you, somebody is going to come by and vandalize my signs. Our signs, I should say. And because that's just what they do. Now, that toxic, vitriolic anger, did not see much of it this year. You do see it from younger people. And I won't forget that car that had 2 women in it, young ladies, drive by, and I'm out there with my flag, and she yelled effing racist at me. And that is a product of the media and what the media has done to this country. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that the media has lied to them. First of all, they told them that this was a close race. They reaffirmed all this stupid far-left extremist lunacy, really harping on the abortion issue when it is a big issue for women, but not like they made it out to be. And obviously there was a large electorate that actually figured it was more important to be able to pay your rent and feed the kids you do have, and that was ignored by the Kamala campaign and Democrats. The other mistake they made was that and you can almost tell when they figured out they shouldn't be doing that, is when they went on the toxic masculinity campaign and they said men that were macho shouldn't be. They have been doing this for a few years now, telling men not to be men and to be submissive people that stand in the back of the room and let the women do all the speaking. And that did not go over well with men, and they didn't vote for Democrats last night. And you and I kind of knew that. We talked about that on these walks. And they saw those numbers and they knew what was doing that. So they turned into the White Guys for Harris campaign. And beautiful people like this right here did not fall for it. So we got some Trump voters here. Isn't this great? So a lot of people just didn't fall for that garbage. And so now I am wearing my MAGA hat in public. I hope you do as well. And the reason why I say that is last night's victory was so resounding, so solid, that it sent a, last night's election was a mandate. The majority of this country, which by the way, Trump is going to win the popular vote when all the votes are counted, because there's like a 5 million vote difference at this point. I do want to go check the numbers for California. I want to see how many Californians voted for Trump, because they are the most oppressed in the country with their rights under a tyrannical, authoritarian dictator, Gavin Newsom. So, and it was very predictable after they announced that last night, the media that is. They went full bore, blaming everybody but themselves. And a couple of them had the sense to say that, I think the best analogy I saw was, you got a couple of teams that, they play a championship game. One of them was a good team. That's arguable, okay? Just play with me, okay? They have a good team and they lost. They didn't have a good game. They didn't show up and play a good game. You can either scream at the referees, you can blame it on the bad weather you had that day, you can blame it on anything you want to. You could say your fans didn't support you enough. You could say the fans on the other team sabotaged our joy. You can do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you're the one that lost. Your policies are what lost. You did not connect with the American public. You forced a whole bunch of bullshit on people that in America we don't ascribe to that stuff. This woke politics. And basically they pissed people off, and that really started when they decided to go after the children. Right around 2018. Then we had the pandemic in 2020. There was a little interruption there. And then during that pandemic, the Democrats in this country went full bore Looney Tunes with critical race theory, gender ideology, transgenderism, self-identity, all of this stuff that's currently destroying society in Europe. They were doing it here. And it didn't sell because a lot of the people in those communities didn't even accept that. So they voted accordingly last night. So if the Democrats were smart, which I hope they are, they're going to stop doing that. Regardless, now the ball is in the court of Republicans who need to unify and get things done. It's one thing to win. It's another thing to actually get it done. And the Republicans have not been very impressive in the past, well, since before Trump came into office. So shit needs to get done, okay? That needs to be the focus. We got a short window here to 2028. Trump's going to be sworn in next year, 2025. We're going to have 4 very short years, and crap needs to get done. So I'm very grateful that the American people were gracious enough, it appears, at this moment anyway, until it's actually been verified officially, that we will have Congress and the Senate. Because now we're not going to spend all this time screwing around with Trump's presidency, sabotaging, and they're probably going to have some Republicans in the party do exactly that. So this is going to be, I think Trump's well equipped for it after everything that's happened to him. I think we'll be okay. He already knows what we know, that that's going to happen. So deal with it as it comes. Currently, right now, the Republicans have 52 seats in the Senate. Very nice majority. In senatorial terms. And when you get the White House too, then your vice president can break ties. So it's really like having 53, right? Now there's about 4 other races. I don't think Kari Lake in Arizona is going to win. I hope she does. But we'll see what happens with that. She's a few points back when they're still counting. So basically we're still waiting for Arizona and Nevada to count their votes. You know, and this is what kills me. You got Florida, millions and millions of voters, millions of them. Many more than Arizona and Nevada. And Florida had all their votes counted on election night. Okay? I mean, Florida's the size of a freaking small country in Europe. You know, they got all their votes counted. Which, by the way, 2 really good things happened in Florida. One, Trump won by over 1 million votes in Florida. For the first time ever has anybody done that. So that is a huge feather in his cap where he lives. I'm sure he's very happy about that. As well he should be. And the Republicans flipped, right? Flipped Miami-Dade. Miami friggin' Dade, Florida, okay? One of the bluest places in the southern part of the country. It's like flipping Atlanta or something, you know? Very large Latino, Hispanic, Cuban, Puerto Rican, whatever you want to lump everybody into. And that's the thing with ethnicity, is usually you'll say Asians, but you'll have like Vietnamese, North Vietnamese, South Vietnamese, Polynesian. You'll have all these different ethnicities. So we'll just say Hispanic, okay? Covers everybody. The Latino vote. Trump picked up tremendously on the Hispanic Latino vote. And Trump picked up everywhere, across the whole country. Now, a lot of people were saying, well, maybe Kamala Harris made a mistake picking Tim Walz for the Rust Belt states. Yeah, you would have had the same result. You would have had the same result that happened. Kamala's campaign was not run very well. Kamala wasn't a good candidate. She didn't speak well. She had too much of her loud mouth on video in the past. And then just not being a good candidate. I think what really did her in was when she was on The View and she was asked very plainly by a friendly interviewers. She could have said anything and they would have clapped like seals. Oh, I wouldn't have changed anything I did. Nothing. No, would you have changed anything that was done in hindsight? Well, nothing comes to mind. Nothing at all, you know? That's just a really terrible answer, and I really think that's what cost her. Now, I saw an interesting perspective on CBS News, one of the morning shows in New York that I get on my smart TV. And the person on there was talking about Trump's assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. And a lot of the media people think that when that happened, Trump won Pennsylvania when that happened. Because the numbers he got in Pennsylvania was very decisive. There was nothing to argue. There was nothing to sue and say we need recounts. It was bang. That's it. They voted for Trump. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I think a lot of the men really appreciated that manliness of him getting up after being shot and pumping in the air. And I told you, I did. I told you on this walk plenty of times, if you want to call it a show or whatever you want to call it, nobody ends up in one of the most historic photographs ever taken like that and loses the election. Trump is going to go down in history as one of the greatest comebacks ever. And how it's going to look in the history books is Trump came in as an outsider, had a great economy, and then he was hit with a pandemic which affected the entire world negatively. He weathered his way through that, and then the other party pounced on him, abused him. Then when he was out of office, they prosecuted, persecuted, and then we had another president who was one of the worst, if not the worst, we've ever had. Joe Biden. And so that's what happened. And it's really, whoops, I don't think this is the one I want. I want to walk down the other one. I go down the other one. So anyway, we had a whole bunch of interesting things like that that are going to be talked about long after we're gone to make a comeback like that, and especially because now he's going to do a good job, and we know he's going to do a good job. So here's the other plus side of him winning, is when Ronald Reagan won, it was decisive. There was a huge political shift in this country. After some dark times in the 70s, people were looking for optimism and hope. And Ronald Reagan gave us that. A lot of people might argue that some of the things he did, he could have done better, but you could always say that about anybody, Trump included. But overall, he got elected really easily, and his biggest achievement was breaking Russia, Soviet Union. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. I mean, everybody will remember that forever. And that's what happened. It was a big moment. I remember watching that on the news. You know, the Iron Curtain fell. People were literally tearing the wall down that divided Germany. It was a huge moment. And Trump's going to have a moment like that. He started too with North Korea. And, you know, I haven't really talked about it on this walk, but past walks, but North Korea has deployed about 8,000 troops to help Russia and Ukraine. So now we're getting North Korea involved in the Ukraine war against the West. And this isn't going to be good. It needs to stop. And Trump's going to stop it. We're going to have peace. So the media is going to try to say he's Putin's puppet, this and that. No matter what Trump does, they're going to try to say, well, he's just catering to Putin. Let them play their stupid politics. Let them poison the minds of these people, like the ones that have this Harris sign out here. Throw these people on the trash heap of history and let's move on. So we have a lot of work to do. Domestically, foreign policy, energy production, everything. This is going to be a glorious time for this country. Now we won, okay? And the good news is, okay, let's say something happens. You know, Trump has a stroke, can't be the president. He's already accomplished everything. And protocols would be, J.D. Vance would be the president, and I think he would be a good one. A very sharp guy. And he's level-headed. He would be able to do the right things. So I think it would be an amazing moment in our history regardless. But we got Trump. We'll be okay. He got the job done, okay? We got him in the end zone. And so now we're going to see what happens. I think right now a lot of people on the left are still absorbing what happened. And they are going to formulate a strategy to sabotage him with the media in a coordinated effort like they've been doing all along. But here's the difference this time. They've been doing this for over 9 years now with Trump. And these newspapers have lost hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, they're all in debt. At some point, if they're going to survive, they're going to have to start doing honest media. And that's it with me for them. I'm done with these people forever. I really could care less if the media changes at this point. I will never trust them again. Not ever. And you don't have to. So, watching Jake Tapper today on CNN, and this is a glorious time. If you're going to watch how bad the media is, this is the time to watch them, if you haven't. The amount of crying they were doing today, and just their rhetoric, sitting around saying, now we wait to see what Trump's going to do as a dictator kind of talk. You know, these people are completely stupid, clueless, lost in space. You and I both know None of that is true. Nothing like that's going to happen. Trump is going to do a good job and unify this country. Excuse me. And that's what we're going to get. And it looks like I still didn't take the right street I wanted. Everything looks different at night. So anyway, hope you really enjoyed the win. It was an absolutely glorious moment last night. I stayed up all night long, couldn't sleep. I waited till about 3 o'clock in the morning till it became official. Without being official, I mean, as soon as Pennsylvania was called, I knew that was it. And there had been some controversy before they called it, about an hour and a half before they called it. And somebody had videotaped truckloads of ballots being dropped off in the middle of the night. And we were like, oh no, here we go again. When did they announce that Kamala Harris wins Pennsylvania, right? But that didn't happen. It turns out those ballots actually came from Western Pennsylvania. Several polling locations in Western Pennsylvania malfunctioned, and they issued provisional ballots. So those truckloads of ballots that showed up in Philadelphia were actually a majority of Republican votes. And that's what won it for Trump. So talk about some freaking justice there, right? I mean, everything, I mean, it could not have gone better. And I'll still be willing to bet you that some people in Pennsylvania did cheat. But they, you know, it was too big to rig, right? So hopefully those people that did cheat will get caught and they'll be prosecuted like Trump said he would. We need to prosecute people that cheat in elections, period. And not only that, I am hoping that Congress can change election laws nationally without federalizing elections. We absolutely do not want elections to be run by the government nationally. We do not want that. What we do want is Congress saying that paper ballots must be used nationwide. You can come up with your own election rules, do what you want, but they got to be paper ballots. I would settle just for that, because you know, a lot of people think, well, paper ballots, you can just run off copies. And no, you can't. You can't. The company that you outsource it to, you'd have to watch them for fraud, so they're not making backroom money with some dishonest people to make extra ballots, because companies do make those, but they are watermarked. It's very good technology, very difficult to falsify a fake ballot, and I think that would be a very important thing. Another rule that was changed in Pennsylvania that I think contributed to Trump winning last night was the Republicans in Pennsylvania actually passed an election integrity bill that your ballot has to go inside another envelope. It's like a yellow seal kind of thing. And that made it more difficult to falsify things. And I think pretty much we got an honest election in Pennsylvania, but I'm sure somebody out there did something improper. But like I said, I hope they get caught if they did and prosecuted. Georgia, I was real happy with. Also Pennsylvania, they caught some people falsifying registrations to cheat. So that's what I'm saying. The canvassing company was the one that got caught, had been doing that since June, and they didn't get caught until October. So who knows how many hundreds or thousands of fake registrations they did already. So I'm sure that's being investigated. The police were investigating it, and they did make some arrests, and well, it looks like people are on it, really. So I'm happy with that. And so Democrats, as of today, are talking about the peaceful transfer of power, and which can only mean one thing. They're already planning ways to usurp that, because they always tell you what they're doing by saying one thing and doing another, or accusing the other side of something they're going to do themselves. So I seriously hope that the Democrats have learned their lesson, but I doubt it. And they're still going to race bait people. I heard it today. I'm watching this, and you know, they're still talking about their woke politics. How are the Democrats going to get their message across to these working people and black men that have left the party? How are we going to resonate with them and still maintain this woke, stupid bullshit? Well, you're not going to be able to. It's like, hello, McFly. So they'll have to figure it out and realize that they lost for a reason. And these people already took in their Harris signs that were out here. They took them off the lawn and put them away. So anyway, what a glorious day. I am so friggin' happy today. I mean, just a dream team we're gonna have in DC this year. Trump's learned the ropes. We're gonna be able to get so much done. It's gonna be for everybody. Make everybody, we got a big tent. We love everybody. People will figure out that we're not the racists the media has made us out to be. And you know, you got to remember, Trump won last night, not because of Republicans and not because of the white vote. The media has been harping on that forever and a week, to the point where a lot of these young people believe that. The people that won the election last night was LGBT, Asians, African Americans, black people in general, Native Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Haitians. You know, because there's a lot of people that understand what was going on. So they have kids. They want to protect their kids from these friggin' lunatics. You know? You know, the friggin' pronoun police. You know, these friggin' horrible, stupid people. Now it's time to move on from that, folks. Identity politics. You got to stop identifying as black, Hispanic, white, gay, straight. Start identifying as a friggin' American, okay? We're all in this friggin' country together. It's time to unify. It's the unity party. Hashtag unity party. Call it MAGA, call it MAHA. Make America healthy again. That's the RFK independents and the libertarians. And we've got a lot of Democrats that are in the middle or lean right, and they broke for Trump last night. So we have a lot of people on the same page at the right time in our history, and everything good will come from that. Now the left is going to poison the well. They're going to organize protests. They're going to organize their riots. Trump's a dictator. And I hope the media is smart enough not to do like they did before and harp on that. But sadly, they are owned by the Democratic Party. The Democrats are going to be running again in 2028. So they are going to push this nonsense because they think it helps, I guess. Still don't understand, it's because they won in 2020. So they figured, well, Biden won, so I guess it works. So they lost this time because of that. So they're going to keep pushing that. And like I said, you can't appeal to the people that work with their hands and continue on with requiring pronouns and indoctrinating kids in schools. So Democrats are going to have to get their head out of their ass and start being an American again. So we get Trump people across the street. One there. And we knew we were going to win, didn't we? We knew it. I mean, the biggest news of the night for me was Trump doubled his support of young people. People 18 to 30 doubled their enthusiasm for Trump. A lot of them were independents. They don't like all this woke stupidity either. They're forced to abide by it in school, in college, or wherever they are, their workplaces. And this was their opportunity to buck against it, and they did so. And that is democracy, friends. That's what you do. Very happy with people waking up and snapping out of it and making America great again. This is going to be so good for everybody. Everybody's going to make money. They'll be able to pay their rent. They'll have jobs. And, that's the big thing the media kept talking about. Bidenomics, Biden's economy. Your 401ks are great, and stock market. And well, can you go buy groceries and pay your rent with a 401k? No, not unless you cash it in. And people ran up credit card debt. Trump said he's going to put a moratorium on credit card companies. They won't be able to jack up their interest rates past a certain amount for people in debt. So there's going to be a lot of good things that happen for people. And might take a couple of months before you start noticing it in your pocketbook, but it's coming. Of course, we got to wait till he's sworn in, because we got to get rid of these idiots in January. So we're going to have a ways to go. So for right now, think about it. Everything they threw at Trump, the prosecutions, the persecutions, he's a criminal, he's a rapist, which, by the way, he's not a rapist, was never charged with that. That's fiction. And so they have to stitch misdemeanor business record offenses together to make it a felony in New York and force a conviction with a crooked jury who hated him, a judge that hated him, who openly hated him, who behaved in court very unprofessionally. And that conviction is going to be overturned anyway. But the Trump team today, his legal team, put in a request for a delay in sentencing. The DOJ also announced today Jack Smith is gone, finally. All of these charges against Trump are going to be gone, DOJ said, because simply you cannot charge and you can't do that with a sitting president, and he got elected. So those are gone. The cases in Georgia is gone. So all of Trump's legal troubles are gone, okay? And many legal experts honestly believe November 26th, they're not going to be stupid enough to sentence a president-elect to prison. And they're more than likely going to agree with delaying that until after Trump is sworn in, which effectively makes it go away. So that's that, folks. That's all she wrote. That beautiful son of a bitch, Donald Trump, won, and we did it for him, and I feel absolutely wonderful about that. This is going to be a great golden age for this country. My last chance as an older guy to have the country we used to have, when people had hope and enthusiasm and you actually felt like you were free. And now we're going to have that again. And you are damn well straight knowing that I am very happy about that. This is glorious. This is a monumentous, absolutely incredible victory. Probably the best in my lifetime politically. Him winning in 2016 was good, but this is even better. Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to flip the camera around just because my left arm is falling asleep from holding this. I'll just walk on down like this. So I got a pretty good sweat going right now. And I mean, geez, look at what we just did, all of us. You have to keep that in mind. We all just did this, all of us. You, me, everybody else, young, old, ugly, beautiful. This is fantastic. And we need to enjoy this. This was hard fought. And what a great time to be alive. My goodness. So we get nice, beautiful weather to walk in. And something I did after the election, it's probably going to sound corny, but I actually broke down and cried and had tears. I was so happy that we won because I understand the gravity of it for the country. And I said a prayer of thanks to the Lord Almighty. A really important thing for me to do. And wow. So here we are, winners. We won. It's all about winning, right? With Trump, winning. We're going to do so much winning, we won't know what to do with ourselves. Well, I'm going to enjoy being an American. I fully understand what we won last night. So Trump's already going to start with the transition team with the White House, which means he's going to have to sit down with Biden's team and work on that, which they will. They will. I'm sure somebody is going to try to plant some kind of sabotage for Trump when he gets in office. I'm sure somebody has something up their sleeve. They're going to try to do something to ruin Trump's credibility, like they haven't done enough already, right? I just don't believe that these people are going to finally see that how they behave is why Trump won. Because let's face it, you know, Trump was in office, and as soon as Trump announced he was running again, you know, polling had, you know, DeSantis was polling just behind him, not by much, 10 or 12 points. Trump had been out of the limelight, and people, I guess, were getting tired of the drama. And DeSantis was fresh and did a good job in Florida. So, but, you know, DeSantis had to go anti-Trump, say bad things about him. That was not the right way to do that. That was a mistake. And that had to do with DeSantis's donors, because DeSantis doesn't have money like Trump does. So he was beholden to donors. And I'm not going to forget that when DeSantis is running again. He has already shown to me that on the national stage, he would have to capitulate to people that have the money and follow their agenda. And in the primary season, DeSantis was obviously instructed to be anti-Trump because the people that hate Trump are donating money to him. So that did not impress me. Vivek Ramaswamy did one thing I didn't like, is he was caught on camera talking to an older lady, trying to talk her out of her vote for Trump because she was on the fence, and he said a couple of bad things about Trump, saying that she would be wasting her vote because Trump's going to go to jail. That's what he told her. I'm not going to forget that either. So, if anything, what we've learned from everything that's happened is we got to watch these people like a damn hawk and not be gullible and susceptible to their bullshit. And we know that Trump is the real deal because he says, he talks to us in plain language, and he's not always right. But we know that. He's not trying to pull something over on people. So, and that's a big deal for me. So we'll see what happens with other things that happen. But, you know, we can't trust these people like we used to. Not until we get to a good place. Now, I got to tell you, somebody like Mitt Romney, he's an idiot. I really don't like him. He's divisive, sort of. He's arrogant. But he doesn't lie to people. He doesn't make things up. That's one thing I will say about him. I actually don't like him because he is honest. He says what's on his mind, and I don't like what he says. So, you know, that's okay. I can respect that, you know. He's a jack-off, but he's an honest jack-off. He's also very wealthy. So there's the contrast. You know, Trump's wealthy. Elon Musk is very wealthy. Mitt Romney's really wealthy. Well, who would you rather have a coffee with and have dinner with? I rest my case. So anyway, we have great things going on. We're going to have a good time. We're going to enjoy everything. And why not, right? Look at everything we've had to go through together. You know, seriously, if Kamala Harris had won, this country would be gone as we know it, and it would turn into something else that we don't want, that is un-American. They made half the country the enemy. And last night, the case was made that you cannot do that and survive politically in America. So that was a really big win for many different reasons. The biggest of which is it tells these people it's keeping them honest, okay? As dishonest as they are, this will keep people somewhat honest in that it sends a lot of a message to these far left extremists out of California that you can no longer get yourself on video saying you're going to do crazy things to make your rabid leftist happy, and then it's not going to work nationally. Now, we already know they are going to cart Gavin Newsom out for 2028. Pretty sure of that, because they really don't have anybody else. They don't have a lot of depth. They'd have to run somebody like Pritzker out of Illinois, Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, you know, maybe Shapiro. He's a good speaker, and he's in a state that has a 50-50 mix, so they'd probably run with him. he didn't get his hands dirty with Kamala. So you might see that. After this truck goes by, I'll tell you about something I thought was funny. As we just hit 4 miles. So what I thought was really funny was Kamala Harris was on the day of the election yesterday. Seems like forever ago, probably because I was up all night. I did manage to sleep some. What was interesting is she went to one of their phone banks that they have. You know, she was going to take calls. She's going to take calls with voters and talk to them live on the phone. So, completely fake. She staged it, and she got caught staging it. It's like this woman cannot do anything right. What did she do? Well, she was on her phone. She has her phone up. Yeah, oh yes, yeah, she's having a conversation. And, you know, and then she says something to her people in the phone bank. And she does what most people would do with their phone, saying, see, I'm talking to somebody. When she held it up, you could see her camera was on. So anybody that knows anything about cell phones, your microphones aren't going to work when your camera's on. And unless you're using video and you have your mic on. But the point is, she had her cell phone camera on. So she gave herself away. She was not having a conversation with somebody. So it was really quite an embarrassing moment. She got caught, and of course that made its way on social media on election day. So here is fake Kamala with a fake campaign, faking her bipartisanship. Faking everything about her was fake, phony, fraudulent. And, you know, she did that on election day. Funniest thing ever. So, of course the media didn't cover that, but I'm sure you could find video of that online. It's all over the place. And so regardless, whatever. We're done with her. We're never going to have to hear from her again, except as vice president. And when she's done, she's going to go back to California. I did hear that Obama chimed in today after Trump's win. I didn't see what he said. I'm sure it was probably ridiculous. But anyway, we won, man. We friggin' won, okay? Trump won with about $500 million. He had $500 million, plus whatever he spent on legal fees, $250 million. It's just money he's never going to get back. He's never going to get back that money. And he had to pay E. Jean Carroll $100 million or whatever it was. You know, that's just wrong. But it is what it is. And so anyway, we are going to enjoy what happened. Freaking guy was creeping up on me. He was just parking. Electric vehicle. Can't hear the damn thing running. So, these people took their signs in too. So it looks like people took their election signs in. I think I may do the same thing now that the election's over. I think I'll do that later this evening. No point in having them out anymore. And might leave them out for a couple days, but I just know somebody's going to come by and vandalize them. So we had this whole thing online with these far left young people with a hashtag of "Do not concede Kamala," trying to tell Kamala not to concede the election to Trump. So, you know, they always revert to everything they accused him of. Funniest stuff ever, don't you think? These people are just unbelievable, really. It's crazy. So, somebody backing up here. So we got all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's switch the camera around. Friggin' hands get tired. So it seems like all these election signs in this neighborhood have been taken out. Yep. For the most part, all the signs are taken out. Trump won, and they're probably all afraid of vandalism, which is probably actually a smart idea. I should probably take my signs in. Keep them as souvenirs. I think I'm going to do that when I get back. I'll put the USA flag back out. Oh, wasn't that beautiful? We did it. We did it, guys. Guys and gals. What a glorious moment in our history. And we were a part of it, man. Think about that. We're a part of history, man. This was something historic in the history books. And we lived it. We made it happen. How's that for friggin' awesome? Just average, everyday people. You know, we got beat up on the last one, but this one's different. Think about it. Everything's different now. And I went into the election yesterday. I told you on our walk. I'm calm. I feel calm. I've seen people on the internet biting their nails. They're all waiting for the sky to fall. Nope, not me. You know why? Because I was informed. I researched all the numbers and I told people, relax, relax. That's not going to happen. This is why. And it made sense because it's true. They screwed the pooch. They didn't take into account that people still love this country and cared enough to vote accordingly. More importantly, they didn't fall for their bullshit. So basically what happened is they ran a campaign of joy. Remember that? They were joyful warriors. They tried to make this whole joyful warrior movement come out on stage, waving emphatically, smiling, laughing. We're never going back, they said. The old days are gone. We're looking to the future. So they say one message of looking to the future, and then they spend the whole time talking about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, 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 Trump. And they divided everybody. If she would have just come out and run a campaign, talked about their issues for the public, talked about this is what we're going to do to make your life better. Yes, I was in the White House. We can do better. You know, this is our plan to fix it. They could have come out and said, you know, maybe, you know, their policies. But what they did was they came out with all this fake joy, joyful warriors, and then they went divisive on bad-mouthing the people voting for Trump, bad-mouthing Trump, and almost got him killed in Pennsylvania. Biden started that. Then there was a second assassination attempt. And make no mistake, Trump was saved by God. Okay, that was divine intervention. Trump was going to win this election. And I told you about that seer I was telling you about, who said God gave him a vision, and he said Trump was going to get shot by the ear. He even picked the right ear. He was going to go down, and at that moment he was going to have a personal relationship with the Lord, and he would be essentially born again, more than he ever has been. And he also said all the legal stuff would go away over the summer into the fall, and he was going to win the election. And he said that he was going to have a great presidency. He didn't give much more detail after that. He did talk about cryptocurrency and that we were going to have a really terrible economic crash. That won't be his fault, and people are going to know it wasn't his fault. That's what he said. So he said times are going to be lean. A lot of people are going to have very hard times. And he said people should prepare for it ahead of time. But the dollar is going to collapse because of all this inflationary spending that was done when he wasn't president. And they're not going to be able to fix that in time, but they're going to have the right team in place to fix it. And he said the United States is going to come up with its own form of digital currency. It's going to be good for Canada, Mexico, United States, and whatever allies we partner with. But that's going to be the new thing, because the dollar is going to collapse. Now overseas, you're going to have another form of digital currency, and but it'll be like having, you know, you got, remember we used to have the francs, would have the German marks, would have all those different forms of money before the EU. Well, now the EU is going to have their own form of money, and I don't know what the UK is going to do because they left Brexit. They left the EU because of Brexit, the British exit. So I don't know what they're going to do for a currency. They're probably going to have to sign on with the EU's currency that they tried to get away from. So, but anyway, that's later on. We can enjoy this right now. This guy also mentioned something about terrorist attacks. All right, he even named where they would be. One's going to be in Louisiana for some reason. Another one's going to be in Nashville, and the other one is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. So that's going to be 3 terrorist attacks, and he said they're going to be simultaneous and coordinated. It's going to be organized. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but unfortunately this guy has been right about so many things. It's scary. So all I can tell you is to prepare for it. If it doesn't happen, well, wonderful, okay? But if it does, it does. So I'm not trying to be all weird and conspiratorial and all that, but this guy has been right about too many things. So, and he's not in it for money. This guy's not on asking for money, and he's not some kind of false prophet kind of thing. This guy legitimately believes it. Now, just because somebody believes it doesn't mean it's true. But anyway, just throwing that out there. So with that, still feels like it's about 70 degrees. It's really nice. And I'm gonna head back, take a nice shower, have something to eat, something to drink. We can enjoy our newfound freedom, liberty, and happiness. So anyway, what I was saying is they ran on joy, the whole joyful warrior thing. And I think I'll go this way. Remember the joyful warrior? They'd come out waving hands like fools, laughing, smiling, happiness, joy. No policies. She didn't have any policies. She wasn't doing interviews. Everything she did with her campaign was wrong. And I got a feeling a lot of her campaign was being run by these younger Marxist types who thought that they were being clever. We hid Biden in the basement and we don't have a pandemic, so we just won't do interviews. It's friggin' Trump. Everybody hates him. This will be a cakewalk. Well, they found out that was the wrong move, and the other thing they did was after that didn't work, they switched over to demonizing Trump more, saying bad things about the voters, us, and she did a couple of interviews that were really bad, just weren't good. Actually, more than one. She did quite a few of them. And so those things didn't work. You know. And then they went with the white guys for Harris. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. White men for Harris? Isn't that racist? So, I don't know why they were surprised that alienated black people, black guys, which it did. So you had these white guys for Harris because they were establishing the fact that Republicans are racist. Trump's a racist, which he's not. So they have the completely wrong message that they were putting out. And obviously it didn't work because, for one thing, white people are not racist. Some of them are, but to be honest with you, more black people today are racist because they've been poisoned with this bullshit than white people. They're so racist, they beat up Asians. That's all over the news. You can research that. So there's a lot of black hate on Asians. So anyway, their messaging was terrible. They paid for it. I guarantee you they didn't learn from it. They're going to blame everybody but themselves. They're going to talk about failing as a party, and we need to look at what we did inwardly, but they're not going to do that. They've gotten too used to it. It's too divisive. It's too easy to point at somebody and call them a racist. It's an easy, cheap attack that you don't need any evidence to back it up. You can just say it. Systemic racism, critical race theory. They have been promoting this stuff for so long, they don't have anything else. And it didn't work for them. Now they're screwed. Now they don't have trust. They don't have public trust. They don't have policies. They don't have anything. This is truly a collapse of the Democratic Party. I don't know how they're going to recover from this, because what this has done is what happened after World War II. The Republican conservative ran this country all the way up until the late 60s. And we screwed it up because we had our own corruption, and we got into Vietnam, and, you know. And yeah, you know, Kennedy was a Democrat, I get it. But I'm talking about the political structure of this country, religious, conservative. And that changed because they went out of touch with what people were changing. You know, we had women burning their bras, women's rights. And because the bra was the symbol that you had to behave and be a certain way, a subservient to men. So this has been going on a long time. So the Republican Party, the new one, the new Republican Party has to be a unity party, which I think it is, where we respect women, but we respect men too. We respect somebody that's white, we respect somebody that's black, so on and so forth. We're in this together, unity, together, okay, as Americans. United we stand, divided we fall. And we fell because we're divided. It just isn't going to work here. So I think people are figuring it out. I think I'll be able to wear my Trump hat without shame. You know, forced shame. And they'll just have to get over it. The freaking awful people like Jim Acosta on CNN. That guy is so horrible, horrible person. He's a fucking little bastard is what he is. Everything that comes out of his mouth poisons civility, everything. He's a little instigating. Well, he had Trump shoved up his ass last night, and I'm sure he didn't like it. So anyway, regardless, a lot of these signs out here are gone. Republican ones are still here, some of them. Campaign is supposed to come by and pick up your signs after the election. They keep a record of everywhere they left one. So, or at least they're supposed to. So I'm gonna go in when I get back to the house, the ranch, the Bat Cave, and I am going to edit this video, upload it. That's my thought on the election. Watching it last night was a piece of work. I really enjoyed that. I also followed the election last night with Charlie Kirk live on YouTube. People that worked for the Trump campaign and did a lot of the groundwork in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So his information was better than CNN's and everybody else's. It was really enjoyable. It goes to show we don't need the mainstream media. But I did switch over to the mainstream media to watch them cry about the election. And it was beautiful. I enjoyed it. I freaking enjoyed it. So glory be to the United States, folks. Keep saying prayers for our country now that we won this battle. We still have a war to win. This was a monumental, this was like the Battle of the Bulge. We had to win it or the tide of the war could change. And we won it. We came together and united as Americans at the right time in our history, and you should feel absolutely empowered and friggin' beautiful about that. So anyway, everybody, until our next walk, we will see you soon. God bless you and your kids and your family and everybody, and we will see you on the next walk. Bye, fellow Americans. See you later.